Today we're making an easy pad thai. Hi, welcome to Black Cat Kitchen. I hope you're doing well. Today we're making an easy pad thai recipe. This recipe comes together so quick and easy, it'll be faster than you can order a takeaway, and cheaper too. This recipe is definitely not a traditional pad thai, but it uses a lot of things that you'll already have in your kitchen, so it makes it quick and easy to throw together. Let's get started. Here are the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. Feel free to pause. I'll list the ingredients in the description below. We'll start by preheating our oven to 400 degrees Celsius. Nope. We'll start by preheating our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius, just to toast up our peanuts. So I've just put my peanuts out on a tray and I'm using the bottom of a flat glass just to give them a little crush. These will be used to top your pad thai once it's all pulled together. Into the oven for just a few minutes until they're nice and toasty. I'm using really thick folded rice noodles. These are a traditional thicker noodle, but you can use thin noodles if that's what you can find. These took about 5 minutes and you can see they're getting nice and brown. We're going to salt our boiling pot of water. And then we'll add our noodles. Cook your noodles as directed. Mine take about 15 minutes. Chop and mince your garlic. A sprinkle of salt helps you mince it a little bit finer. Thinly slice the tops of your spring onions and then cut the bottom of your spring onions into large pieces. So to prepare our prawns, I'm just going to take a small paring knife and just cut down the backs of them. Usually they're pretty good and clean, but you always want to check that there's no residual leftover prawn bits. I also like to cut them like this because they roll up really nicely when you cook them and they're the perfect mouth-sized bite. I always prepare my chicken last because that way I don't have to keep washing up my cutting board. And I just like to slice these into bite-sized pieces. I'm using chicken tenders because that's what I had on hand. You can use any type of chicken, dark meat, light meat. If you don't like chicken, you can fry up some tofu. That's really lovely. Just literally replace it same for same. In this recipe, you can use beef, pork. The options here are endless. Make sure whenever you're working with chicken or raw poultry that you give your hands and all of your utensils a really good wash afterwards. We're going to use 1 egg per person here, so this recipe is good for 4 people, but you can definitely half it if you've only got 2 people, although it does keep really nicely for leftovers the next day. And we're just going to give these a quick whisk up so that everything is ready to go when we've got that wok heated. Whisky whisk. You just really want to break those up in there. Perfect, let's get that set aside and let's go back to our noodles. Let's get our noodles drained off. And we're gonna give those a rinse in cold water. Whew. Noodle facial. Really make sure that they're not sticking and be careful because it is hot. And now for arguably the most important part of pad thai, the sauce. So into our bowl, brown sugar, soy sauce, lime juice, fish sauce, and sriracha sauce. You can add as much or as little as you like depending on your heat preference. Give that a good stir and get all of that brown sugar dissolved in there. In traditional pad thai recipes, you'll find palm sugar and more difficult to find ingredients, but this one's fairly easy. I've got the wok on its highest heat and I want to heat that up a little bit before I get that oil in there. Once you see the little bit of smoke come up, or mine smokes a little bit.
What is wok hei? It is the breath of wok. When you cook with wok, the wok gives the food flavor. Get the wok hei. No such thing as saucepan hei.
You'll want to get that oil in and let it start to melt. A nice way to tell if your oil's hot enough is if you put a wooden implement in it and it starts bubbling around it. There it goes. See those bubbles? Let's get the chicken in. That's what you want to hear. While the chicken's cooking, let's season it with some salt and pepper. And once most of that pink starts disappearing, we can get our garlic in. You don't want to add the garlic too early because it has a tendency to burn on high heats like this. So in goes our garlic, and we'll also get the bottom of our spring onions in as well. Already so fragrant as soon as that garlic hits the oil. Just give that a few minutes to start cooking. Make sure that chicken gets cooked through. And now for the prawns. Just stir them in with that chicken. You'll see they go pink almost immediately. It's really important to use wooden implements on your woks because it will scratch them if you don't. Just so we're seasoning at every level, let's add a little bit of salt for those prawns and a little bit more pepper. Those are just about done. Let's give them a few final stirs. We're gonna actually take them out of the wok. So let's just move this across into a separate bowl, leaving as much of that broth and coconut oil in the bottom as possible. That's going to help cook our eggs in a minute. So I like to let this reduce just a little bit to really make those flavors come together before adding the egg in here. So you can see that's really simmered down. There's not much liquid left there, but there's so much flavor in that liquid, it's really going to add to the eggs. So let's get our eggs into the wok. Stir them quite regularly at this point. That heat will cook it quite quickly, and you'll want those nice little tiny curds of egg in it. When it gets to almost a custardy scrambled egg, we're just going to let it dry out a little bit, and then we can add our chicken and prawn mix back into the wok. You can see it's starting to dry up here, and you've got little bubbles coming through, so let's give that a good mix up. Perfect. And let's get the rest of our mix back in here. Now I like to let that cook together so that the flavors get to know each other and some of that sauce just cooks away, so there's not quite as much as there was. Right, let's get our noodles in. And most importantly, our sauce. It's salty, it's sweet, it's got that little bit of heat in it. You've got the nice fattiness from the coconut oil. Let's get it all together. Get it nicely coated. Make sure everything's got that sauce in there. Let's serve it up. Serve it with a wedge of lime, a sprinkle of those toasty peanuts, and that reserved chopped green onion. And there you have it. Quick, easy pad thai. That sauce, it just has every flavor you could possibly want it. It just bursts in your mouth. And the prawn, really sweet, still perfectly cooked. Let's give that chicken a try. Nice and tender. It has absorbed the sauce and all of the other flavors. That egg is just a really nice, gentle flavor in the background that just kind of gives a bit of texture, really. Absolutely perfect dish. And my favorite fakeway. Thanks for watching Black Cat Kitchen. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you down in the comments below.